Okay, says we are live. Hopefully that is true. Hopefully we are good to go. How we doing? Hopefully good. It's Friday, right? Yes, it's Friday. So happy second Friday, technically, of January already. We're about to be in double digits of January tomorrow, which is kind of crazy already. But hello, how are we? Hopefully we are doing good. I'm kind of anticipating a good amount of words today, I think. I do have a little bit of work to do in the bullet journal, but I feel like that will be relatively easily wrapped up, and then I can shift over into writing. So, hopefully that is good. I had sort of set myself a weekly, at least 5,000 words, good words in a document, in a story document, per week. Or three revisions. So at least 5,000 good words or 3 revision sessions during the week. And I am thus far at 9,300 for what I would consider decent words for the first 2 weeks. So I'm right on track there. I will be able to get a little over 10,000 this week, I think, which is going to be great. So, yay. Diane is here early for once. Hello, all. Hello. Welcome. Monique is also here. Hey, y'all. Hello. Welcome. Elizabeth is here. Hi, all. Hello. Welcome. Monique's birthday is this coming Tuesday. Sorry, don't mean to yawn at that. It's very exciting. Happy early birthday. Yes. Stacy says good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Welcome. Oh gosh. Okay. So, yesterday I took sort of as a slow recovery. Don't feel like I accomplished much yesterday, but a little bit of rest, a little bit of relaxation. Did get a couple of things done around the household, but not a plethora of things. Some days it's just like that. So what did y'all get done on your Thursdays? We managed to clean the fridge for our new garbage date because we switched companies. And so we had an oddity in that last week was the first time they picked up, but they were delayed a day because of New Year's. So yeah. So we cleaned out the fridge, did, household trash, that kind of stuff. So the fridge is at least somewhat clear for like a day or two before we stuff more leftovers in there, because that's usually how it goes. Diane also says happy early birthday to Monique. Yesterday was a low energy day for you as well, but you still worked out. Yeah. So I don't know, because I remember Thursday just sometimes feels low energy pretty regularly. And I don't know if that's just because we're so used to the work week or school week that you've gotten through the majority of the week, but you still have time in the week. You still have Friday, so it was a laundry day for you. Gotcha. Yeah. I think tomorrow will probably be laundry day for us. Probably. But yeah. Okay, so I did put up the poll. Ooh. Mom Maggie says heading out to go to the doctor's. 7 inches of snow overnight is turning into a whiteout. Ooh, drive safely. Drive safely. Leaving this up for view time and hugs. Thank you. I appreciate it. And hugs back. So the poll for today is what will be your main character's mode of transportation. Bike, roller skates or roller blades, skateboard, or feet. And I don't know if this is more of like youthful, what would your main character have when they were a teen, or just in general, what would be the thing that they would prefer? That's up to you. It's sort of like, because I know there are some characters who would have access to a like carriage or access to a car or whatever. But out of these options, what do you think your character would have? Yes, Mom Maggie is in Colorado. So, yes. Diane also wishes Mom Maggie to be safe. Okay. For our kitty of the day, for Thursday, we have sometimes simply closing one's eyes for a bit is a perfectly possum escape. There you go. Sitting in a sunbeam on a cozy location. Y'all, I had decaf coffee this morning. So I'm supposed to have a little bit of caffeine in there, right? And then today is a pair of kitties. The quilt is always cozier on the other side, which is also very true. Especially if there's a sibling that you can bother. So. Alrighty, those are the kitties for the day. Let's see if we can get it to refocus with this or not. Thinking about it, still not quite there. Ooh, CB is back. Yay! You got home yesterday. You're okay jet lag wise. Still not doing it. What about if I get the big paper? There we go. That did it. That did it. It's only the second snow that you've gotten since September. Yeah, I remember my brother and his family were talking about that. Driest winter in decades so far, but the El Nino, La Nina transition years, we usually get a lot of late snow. Gotcha. Your thighs aren't strong enough these days to count on biking. Oh no. I guess in my family it would be walking in calves because my dad sort of mentions his side of the family. I think this would have been the side of the family that was from Alabama, I think. I don't think it was the Florida part of the family. I think it was the Alabama part of the family. This was back in the olden days when the westward expansion was happening. And so they walked from Alabama to, I think about Colorado, saw the additional mountains they would have to climb and were like, meh, screw this, we're going back. Turned around, walked back. And so, yeah, so that's the part of the family that has the extra large calves and the walking stamina for days and days and days. Which sort of makes sense. Kitty! All hail the feline overlords, right? Yes. Good kitty. They're very cute. Tony would have skates and Pepper prefers her feet. Gotcha. Mom Maggie wants to know, how was Houston? CB said Heathrow Airport was a nightmare, but Houston was nice. You're going to be going back in September. Excellent. Weather was a lot better there than here. Yeah. It's over 50 degrees where Stacy is, so it feels like late spring. It is currently 71, but we are anticipating to drop down into the 40s and 50s over the Saturday night into Sunday, I think. Mom Maggie is headed out into the white. Be blessed. Same for you, and be safe. Diane pulled in the 9 of Cups. Nice. Your urban fantasy series, your characters either drive or walk, mostly because while there are people who bike, it's mostly a hobby and not for getting around. Yeah. It's, yeah, definitely a major walk and definitely a major commitment to like sell all your things, you know, pack up your entire household, walk what is now like half the country, turn around and walk back. Yeah. And just start over in the same place. Is weird. But hey. 35 degrees Fahrenheit here. That's a good bit colder, yes. Tomorrow it's supposed to go to 49 degrees. So still staying around the same mark for you. Also drew the 9 of Cups. Okay, so 9 of Cups is a thing today. I'm halfway tempted to pull out one of mine, but we'll see. Your main character would bike in the first part of the story, but later it would be horseback. Nice. Excellent. Great minds think alike. Or the universe has something to tell both of you. I don't know. Okay. I swear, at some point in this no caffeine journey, I am going to stop yawning. At some point. Right? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the document. We also need a card for the day, though. Besides the 9 of Cups, I mean. Okay, we have the mouse inverted. So the mouse is tending to small things. Small details and things. 9 of Cups, wishes are coming true. Nice. I like that. CB also had support today. Oh, that's nice for like when you're just getting back, helping you, get things straightened and do all of that kind of thing. That's nice. I like the timing of that. You also went to the mall, you did your budgeting, and then you came back and spent some time chatting. Excellent. Good. The sun fell out of your tower deck. You also pulled the 2 of Swords and the Tower inverted. Again, the major arcana for you. Okay. The mouse is number 40. And again, it's in the inverted position. But here's our little mouse. Tend to the small things. Are you too caught up in details, micromanaging others, and stressing out because you want everything to be perfect? Are you procrastinating because you want every detail to be just right and losing track of time and your priorities? The mouse wants you to listen to your intuition that tells you that the detail you fear you are overlooking will only appear when you stop obsessing. The mouse will lead you to the nuances you need to notice and will diligently work to support you if you take a breath and trust that guidance will be provided. Also, small gestures carry great power right now, and maybe you need to take action towards discovering what is going on that you may not be seeing, or towards mending a relationship or a situation. Ask a question, do a little research, and listen for the mouse's quiet little squeak telling you, look here and attend to this small detail. So there you go. there you go. Monique feels like Mouse is calling you out because it feels like Gabby's novel is coming easier to you than Drama of the Undead. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes there are stories that flow, and sometimes there are stories that need a little bit of extra effort. Still trying to work out where you can access a crochet class. The trouble is you need an essential carer/chaperone to attend with you, but that might double the cost. Okay. Have you not found any of the YouTube tutorials helpful for the basics? Because sometimes those can, like seeing someone who has that experience but also can film it, is helpful. But if you feel like you want a class, I understand there's definitely some research for that. You came up with where Gabby got the inspiration for her ghost story. When she was a child, she went to the Philippines and she swears she saw a ghost. Nice. Having the cost double because you have to pay for a carer to go with you. Yeah, that feels like it should be illegal. Yeah. Diane suggests the Marley Bird channel on YouTube. You need someone to take you by the hands and literally do it for you until your tiny mind gets it. Oh no. Well, I mean, sometimes the visuals will help you prepare for the hand motions. So you could, if you want, take a look at the playlist. Yeah, Marley has a playlist where she teaches her mother how to crochet. Takes it nice and very meticulously. That would be a nice one to look at. But yeah. You decided that in your urban fantasy universe, ghosts live in old places and in nature, however old a natural place is. And that means the more likely there are ghosts. Okay, so then how are you treating new locations that are on top of old locations? Do you have less ghosts there because there's newer energy covering it? Or do you still have the old ghosts? You can do a basic chain, but after that, it's beyond your comprehension. Hey, sometimes that first step is what you need, and it just takes a while to get it. So understand that. I promise you, the first time I tried to knit and crochet, specifically crochet, I was trying to learn from my grandmother's books after that she passed, and I literally threw the hooks across the room, and the books and the yarn, which I never do. Like, I'm not a person that throws things when I'm angry, but I was so frustrated and angry the first time that I tried to learn. But yeah, I threw them all, and then I didn't touch them for like 10 years, maybe closer to 15. So yeah. The White Lady of Ballet Drive is an urban legend that dates to the 1950s, but still counts as old. Gotcha. Marley is the spokesperson for Red Heart and has family members that live here as well. Gotcha. Nice. Kate says, good morning, friends. Good morning. How are you? Ballet Drive used to have a ballet tree, so you're probably right that modern structures on old nature would still have ghosts. I would think so. Your grandmother taught you to knit, but she couldn't crochet. Gotcha. Yeah, you've tossed a ball of yarn and hook across the room out of your frustration. Yeah, exactly. And so it's not an uncommon thing, I think, when you are first learning something that is like very fiddly. The other thing I would say is that don't start with the teeny tiny hook and teeny tiny yarn. Like that's just a recipe for additional frustration, I think. So that I think was part of my problem, was that I was trying to use the hooks that she had and she did almost micro crochet with very lightweight yarn for most of her sort of like odds and ends that she made. We still have some of the bouquets that she made in our kitchen. And she made like lace weight angels and doilies and things like that. So she was like very tiny, very lightweight. She didn't necessarily, wasn't like thread, but it was not far from it. She did, we do have one blanket of hers that is like a normal sized yarn that she would have had to do with a normal sized hook. But the majority of her things are all what I would consider lace weight, if that makes sense. Like the very, very thin. I don't think I have anything in here at the moment that's by her. I might could go during one of the breaks, take the vase with the little bouquet in it down and show y'all, but it's just yeah, so don't start with a tiny hook. I would say if you're gonna start with like an accessible yarn. So if you already have some yarn and it's like the normal weight yarn, which is like a worsted weight 4, I think. At least that's US terminology. I'm not entirely sure for UK terminology. And like a 5mm, like 5mm H8. Again, I don't know which one is the UK versus US. But like this hook size is very different from one that is like this is a 4. Like, and those are like, you can see there's a pretty big difference there already. So yeah, start with like a 5 or 6. Or if you have like the Bernat blanket yarn, start with like a 6 or an 8, depending on how fluffy your yarn is. And what kind of project you're doing. Because if you're trying to do like a critter, it does require generally a tighter weave so that the stuffing doesn't come out. So yeah. But yeah, start with a hook that you can see, as you say. You need a decent high hook that you can see. Yes. Exactly. Kate says you're doing pretty good today. Go to work on your blog this morning and then go over edits. Nice. Your mother and grandmother could crochet like mad women. I wish I had spent more time, especially with mom learning their ways. Yeah. My grandmother crocheted and she sewed like nobody's business. Her mother was a seamstress. So that's where she gets the sewing from. But her mother was also a fantastic cook. And some of that got passed on. Whereas on my mom's side, I don't think that they had any specialties in terms of like craftiness. Because most of them were just trying to survive and like feed their kids. And so it was not that was not something that they really talked about or passed down. So yeah. Question: does the idea of ghosts haunting modern buildings that were built over ancient forests or places that started out as natural overgrowth fall under the Indian burial ground trope? I think that's slightly different context, or just slightly different connotation is the word I'm looking for. Because simply being an ancient forest or having a natural overgrowth, it doesn't imply that it was a sacred burial location. So I think there's a nuance there that I wouldn't necessarily equate the two. A blanket is 46 squares of 81 now, okay? 46 squares of Oh, okay, gotcha. You are doing a blanket, and the blanket requires 81 squares, is that correct? You were gonna do 72, but you think you're gonna do 81 since that would be 9 by 9 and easier to sew together. Yes. I like that. You've recently realized how much you enjoy working with your hands, wrapping crystals or making earrings. Yeah, and it's like picking up a new hobby all over again. Right? And so I just keep collecting hobbies, because, yeah, I started doing the wire wrapping, and I started doing the beaded earrings, and I've been crocheting for a while, and I got the wax seals, and I've got the painting, and I keep thinking about making candles or stained glass, and I'm like, I do not need another hobby, but I do want to try it out. Again, this is why I think there ought to be some sort of like location in every town where you can go and you can learn or dabble in just about anything. Like, that you could go and try out stained glass, you could go and try out polymer clay earrings, you could go and try out, painting or woodworking or whatever. I think there ought to be some sort of like craft center in every town. And I'm not talking about like just Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann's. I'm talking about like someplace where you can go and like have a class in every town. I think that needs to happen. But Monique says you're trying to make it more of a metaphor of industry versus nature. Gotcha. Stevie says, I'm not sure to Monique, but Ghostbusters Frozen Empire might be something that might be helpful to watch. Also, Ghostbusters Afterlife might be also helpful. I sound like you. Yeah, all the hobbies. All the hobbies. You like trying new things. Why not? Exactly. But then you have to you pay for all the stuff, and you pay for the equipment, you pay for the materials, and then it just hangs around. Like the YMCA, yes, but for crafties instead of athletics. Kagehime is here. Hello, welcome. Diane says, I was just sitting here thinking I want to get out my mother's crochet hooks and then had to stop your brain. It's like, no. Yeah, you're supposed to be packing and things. How is the packing and process going? Or are you taking today to write or paint? What is your goal for the day? So yes. There's a place in Munich where you can paint ceramics. Nice. Yes, I've done. So there's a place, it's about like an hour and 15, maybe an hour and a half from here, that has, you can either paint the ceramics or you can do fused glass. And I don't know where my fused glass piece went to. I did a piece that was inspired by Van Gogh's Starry Night. And I don't know where it has gotten to. I don't know. At some point, I packed it when we moved, and I have not seen it since. I think it might be in amongst some other things, so it could be in my portfolio. I'm not real sure. But yeah, so I've done the fused glass. I could have chosen to paint a ceramic something, but when I heard that you could do fused glass, I was like, ooh, this could be fun. So I changed my mind as to what I was going to do. So yeah. Then I mentioned stained glass, and Diane remembered you want to do some for house moving since it is a craftsman style. Ooh. Do you have the supplies for it? That's the other thing is, like, I know my dad has solder, but I don't know if he has flux to go with it. And I don't have the glass grinders, but we have plenty of files. Like, so I could make do, so yeah. Your place is cluttered with your hobbies. You think everyone is sick of me asking if they want a notebook or a bookmark or a scarf? Yeah, at some point, like, that's the thing is I've I made critters for every like the close family and friends for Christmas, and then I made a jellyfish after, and I was like, where do I put it? Where does it go? Where do all the critters that I make go after this point? So I mean, because I'm gonna have to do something with the yarn, and that means making stuff with it. um, you know, but then where do all the things go? So your mother does Zumba at her local YMCA. She used to do pickleball there, but the male players were very aggressive, so she doesn't play there now. Gotcha. Yeah. What's my goal for today? Yes, question mark. Still figuring all that out. Gotcha. You have some solder. Okay. No flux. Okay. Same. Several irons from college days and making jewelry classes. You would be starting at almost ground zero for it. That seems like mm, it would be a challenge, which in some ways feels like it makes it more appealing. Which is not good because I am the hobby enabler. I'm like, yes, do it. Which is not good for your use of time that you maybe should be using packing or writing or doing something else. Kara says, okay, so you pulled from the Enchanted Map deck. You got number 39, Protecting Treasure. You are always protected and divinely directed. Nice. Donate them to a children's hospital. Yes, I like that. I don't know. We don't have a specific children's hospital in town, but we do have several hospitals that would have a pediatric unit. We have two hospitals. Um, yeah, I think we also have at least one shelter. And if I made them without the safety eyes, I could potentially also give them to if they didn't have like lots of dangly bits, I could potentially give them to animal shelters as well. So yeah, there are some good places to put them. Thank you for that. I will investigate and see where I can give them and like how many they might want at a time. CB likes that idea of donating to the Children's Hospital or Children's Wings. Yes. Thinking a community college around you might have a class, but you haven't looked. It's a future me thing. Yeah, and it's like I know that since UGA is like basically half of Athens, UGA has some classes, but I think they're not really like super readily available because most of them are like full to the brim with art majors. Because I know talking with my friends who were art majors, they had to wait until their junior or senior year to even have a chance of picking up certain classes because they were just chock full. You're going to go and look at the area colleges. Yes. Is there a CPS service that would be able to use them? There was a documentary on Netflix about prisoners who made quilts for children in care. I know there is. I talked to one lady in the yarn, like standing in the yarn aisle, and she gave me her card somewhere. But yeah, they do. They make like baby quilts. And donate them. But it was it's more of a like church associated thing. So I'll have to kind of look around, I guess, in multiple areas. You tried to crochet for early born babies, but the holes were too big. Ah, okay. Yeah. The documentary was called The Quilters. I will have to look it up. Thanks, CB. Yeah, so there are definitely some places for critters and blankets, things to go to, especially like as we are in the colder months. For sure. Like that becomes important. Okay. We've been talking for 35 minutes. We need to get work. We need to get to work. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna go with silent again today. And okay, let's do, well, I say silent and then we had an ad. I still haven't gone in and fixed that, so I need to do that at some point today. I need to put that on my to-do list. Okay. Share screen, share screen. Fancy frog timer. Banner. Okay, so 1, save your document. 2, make sure you take a sip of whatever it is you're hydrating with. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. Diane says, nope, neither community college has a course. Oh no. I wonder if the county extension agency has anything. That would be more like agricultural related typically though. So I don't know. So that may be more like canning and food preservation and that kind of stuff. Gardening. 1, save. 2, sip. 3 is straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4 is if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. How'd we do? How did we do? I think I did pretty good. We have 535 to start off, which is good. I need to actually do yesterday's too. So, how'd we do? Ooh, Kagehime got a nice 99. Excellent. Love it. Love it. Let's see. So this is where Diane was checking the community colleges to see if they had a course for, was this for stained glass? I can't remember. We've talked about so many hobbies now. So you're thinking about coming up with your own course for yourself. There's so much online. Yes. But then you dug yourself out of the rabbit hole to take a look around at what actually needs doing. Yeah. Monique got, you were going to work on the next chapter of your holiday fic, but also going to journal first. This is where Kagehime got the 99. Diane got a mini brain dump done. Excellent. Good. Kara ate lunch and renewed your license plates. Excellent. Yay. Good job for the life admin. Stacy has gotten 1,230 words today. Woohoo! This is the second time that you've hit your daily goals this month. It's fantastic. It's great. You're working up there. That's right. Happy birthday to Carmen. You can't write tomorrow because the birthday party is tomorrow. So you want to get a few extra words in today. Gotcha. Understandable. Monique got almost 200 words written. Very nice. You have been writing pretty consistently this whole week, which is fantastic. Wonderful. That's how we build the habit, right? 302 words of a new shiny idea. Yes. Now you feel like you can get back to the original story. Okay, good. You've gotten the shiny idea downloaded somewhere safe. And now you can return to your originally scheduled program. Oh gosh. I saw a short where somebody was sort of doing a skit with themselves about the constant internal monologue, and how they kept pausing like a movie or show because their internal monologue was distracting them from the plot lines. And I cannot tell you how many times I have been watching a show or been watching a movie and like something happens and then something else is as a result. And I was like, oh, well, they could have gone XYZ. And then like my brain is just fully disengaged with like where the storyline could have gone instead of where the storyline is going on the screen. So I will admit I have also paused a TV show or movie if it's like something that I'm watching on DVD by myself to like follow that train of thought, because it was distracting. Like the voices and the dialogue and everything were distracting me from where the story could have gone. So I have done that before, for sure. Not usually if I'm watching a show with someone, because if I'm watching a show with someone, I feel like I tend to rein that in a little bit more. I don't know why. Yeah. Kara says, my internal dialogue has been incredibly mean to me this week. Oh no. Your recovery work is like peeling away the skin of an onion. You're finding a lot of rot underneath. You were using behaviors to distract from it. Gotcha. Okay. Well, at least you have discovered it. You are cognizant of it, and being cognizant of it is one of the first steps to putting a stop to it. Right? Kat is here and says, heyo, hello, welcome. Welcome, welcome. What chaos are you up to today? That's the question. All right. And I will shove us into a secondary sprint. Still going silent, I think. Let's see. Formatting is what you've been working on. Glory's poetry collection. Nice. But also formatting is a pain sometimes. That is for sure. Okay, I'm gonna select this one, but actually, I think I have to do that differently because okay, there we go. Oh, wait, I closed it. Oh no. Sorry. I did something and I did it wrong. Videos. Scroll down. I want this one. And I want to make sure we do not share the audio with it. There we go. Think you need a break from the formatting? Yeah, sometimes formatting can be a lot. So, Andy is here. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, second sprint is the self-promo sprint. So if you have something you want to promote, please take the chance to do so. Also, don't forget to answer the poll, which is what would be your main character's mode of transportation? Bike, roller skates or blades, skateboard, or feet? All right, let's do this. 1, save your document. 2, make sure you have something to hydrate with and go ahead and take a sip. Cheers. Three, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching. 4 is if you need a break, take a break. Here we go, 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. That's the end of that sprint. How'd we do? I think I did good. Let's check. Nope, that's not. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I got 655, which is great. Fantastic. Okay. Save my word tracker. Save the document. How'd you do? Funky sliding in with some Drake lyrics. Diane did some adulting with retirement benefits. Very important adulting. Funky says stupid adulting. You'd rather be doing something fun. But I mean, hey, retirement benefits is pretty important. So, you know. All right. Let's see. Don't forget to save. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow your fellow sprinters. Make sure you are subscribed to the people that you are going to their sprints. And if you are seeing people's shorts that you are enjoying, make sure you are following them there as well. Stupid adulting, making you be responsible and shit. Yeah. Kat says taking a break from formatting. You're going to pick it up tomorrow. Great. Diane says funky. I know, right? Oh, making me be responsible. I know. Being responsible is sometimes not all it's cut out to be. I prefer the days where, somebody else would take care of all the bills and I can just read and write and have fun, right? Sigh. Alas. We must grow up. But must we? Must we? Yeah. I mean, it's preferable than the alternative. Meg's like, yes, sign me up. Okay, let's do this one next, I think. Except it doesn't have the music. Never mind. We will find a different one. Where are my winter timers? I know they're somewhere. There they are. There they are. Okay. Diane says, stuff I'd been putting off, and since you're spinning on what to do, you figured you best get at least one important task done. Fair enough. I like that. Kat says, also double checked my work tracker to make sure I documented that I was working on formatting. Excellent. You're in decision fatigue mode. Yeah, because you have so many decisions you have to make with packing. Do you keep it? Do you not? Where do you put it in the new house? Which box does it go in? All that kind of stuff. You wake up to emails or texts that hubby can't seem to do on his own. Huge eye roll. Yeah. Yeah. All right. let's do the sprinty sprint. We need a chicken timer. You need the chicken alarm at the end to make your life complete. What kind of chicken alarm are we talking about? A chicken alarm that Diane has? Or just a chicken sound? I will have to see if there is a chicken sound. The rubber chicken sound. I'm pretty sure there is a rubber chicken sound in the YouTube sound effects library. So I could make a timer with that as an end sound. Do we check on Canva real quick if it is going to load for me? To see if, let's see, where, there we go, photos, rubber chicken. Okay, the first couple that have rubber chickens are copyrighted, so I may have to do a little bit of extra searching. There are plenty of rubber ducks, but the rubber chickens I may have to spend a little bit more time on to see if I can find some. But if you would like a rubber chicken timer, yeah, it's been, yeah. Yours is actually a dog toy, ironically. The sound scares Poncho. Oh no. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I can make one if you would like one. So yeah. But I'll just have to search around on like Pixabay or Pixels or whatever and find a rubber chicken photo that is not copyrighted. And you'll be good. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the third sprint. So 1, save your document. 2, make sure you have something to hydrate with. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. 4 is if you need to stand up and stretch, walk around, all that kind of good stuff. Make sure that you do that. So 3 is stretch. 4 is if you need a break. Take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. How was that? Was that a good sprint? We get some more done? Let's see what we got. $653 that time. Okay, so we're staying sort of in the 600 zone between Wednesday and now. Okay. So I'm definitely hitting my 10,000 for the first 2 weeks of January. I was going to say December, but it's not December anymore. So yeah, definitely getting that. So now I will need to do some revision sessions this weekend to kind of continue with that as well. So yeah, so my weekend will be mostly revisions, I think, among reading, because I'm still trying to make sure I'm getting my TBR takedown, my physical TBR takedown, I should say. Let's see. Kara was going to be doing some MAT therapy. Funky got some work writing done, and you're done for the day. Yay! Excellent. Good job. Hey, and I got some planning done. Excellent. Also, welcome. Kagehime got 190 words. Fantastic. Good job. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, we should also check out the thumbnail and the poll. Where are we? It'll be in the downloads folder. And today's should be the fourth one. Yes. Okay. I have not gone into it in a week, so here we go. So, what is our main character's method of transportation? By bike, by roller skates, by skateboard, or by feet? And the answer is 69% by feet, 25% by a bike, 6% by roller skates or blades, and nobody is taking a skateboard. Nobody is taking a skateboard. So, most of our main characters are walking / running under their own power. That's how that goes. All right, y'all, don't forget to save your documents. Make sure you are saving, backing up, etc. We are at the beginning of a new year, so make sure that whatever projects that you are finishing and or have finished recently with 2025, make sure you have made a backup of them or are planning to do that maybe this weekend. So yeah, back up your projects. Make sure you have a save somewhere that's kind of recent in some other additional location that you can access later. So, all right. Thank you again for joining me today. And have a great weekend. I will hopefully see y'all in the chats. I will be trying to do a TBR takedown this weekend as well as some revisions. So hopefully I will be in amongst y'all, even if I'm not chatting too much. So thanks. Don't forget to save. Bye.